Hello, welcome to Country Stitchers. I'm Liz.
Hi, I'm Deb.
We have been busy at home in the last week, and last week we were busy away from home. We were at Stitches Unlimited, and we're going to start today by showing you something that has to do with Stitches Unlimited. But first, I just want to say, as a community, we hear from so many people. We hear from them in their celebrations. We hear from them in their ailments and their difficult times, during their emotional difficulties. And I just want to thank you for sharing with us part of your life as we share the joy of needlework, because I think there are so many of us that have those things. It's part of life.
Yeah, it's our connection.
It is.
Yeah.
And so thank you.
Yes,
thank you for joining us in all of your journey. And we
Yes.
look forward to continuing to share in that.
Yeah, and thanks for everyone who came out to see us last week.
Yes.
That was so much fun. And a special thank you to Ellen Chester for sitting down with us during the video. That
We
was
sort of
awesome.
hijacked her.
We did, yeah. She is so sweet.
She is.
Not only is she an unbelievably talented designer, oh my gosh, she's just a great person.
She is. Fun to
So,
get to know.
Yeah.
And we look forward to getting to know you more when we travel your direction, Ellen.
Yeah.
So we know when you're booked, and we'll be there when you're not booked. So let's start off with our finish that we did.
Okay. Well, first of all, we were getting ready to go on our retreat to Salty Yarns when
Yes.
we were going away, and Liz mentioned, let's take along a punch needle. Wouldn't that be fun? And I thought, yeah, that would be great. So we came up with what we wanted to take.
We saw it at a retreat we had gone to at Liberty Mountain at Fiberfest.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And it just so happened that Stitches Unlimited was having a trunk show with Teresa's Primitive Treasures, which happens to be where the pattern came from.
Yeah.
So now Stitches Unlimited is going to be sponsoring a class with Teresa.
Miller.
So what better
Yeah,
time to
it's
show
so
you what
cool.
we chose?
I was like, oh my gosh, we haven't finished.
Cheers.
So, yeah, here you go. So it is, the punch needle
Yes.
is your, we both did the sunflower.
We
Her
did.
pattern, there was 3 choices, right?
Yep, you could do a bee, a strawberry, or the sunflower.
Okay. So, and then she has it finished showing this clamp, which if you remember, if you follow us, we actually we purchased the clamp at the Fiber Fest.
We did.
And let you know that there'd be something that we'd be doing with it eventually.
Yep.
And so this was the idea. Mine came out, it's so cool because we did the punching, but then we finished them completely not with each other. So
No.
I didn't know what she was doing, and she didn't know what I was doing. So go ahead and tell them about your finish first, and then...
This is very close to how they did the model on the pattern. They had basically three parts: your punch needled flower, the pin cushion, and then they called these the petals that came up around the bottom. Theirs were all done in similar shades, but I wanted mine to have some blue background on the flower. I'm kind of a blue person, so I used...
Oh, you're not happy?
I'm happy if I knew it that way. So
That is so cute.
I put my sunflower on the blue pin cushion, and I want Kathy Haberman to know that I stuffed and stuffed and stuffed and stuffed
You
and
did.
stuffed until you can't get any more in there.
Yeah, you did.
And then I put my petals on. And I did one thing differently than their finishing directions. They wanted you to glue and clamp this down with glue. I'm a lacer. So I laced mine onto the bottom with upholstery thread. So I just went through the bottom of my pin cushion, right down around and back up into the pin cushion and back and forth until it, I mean, that's all laced. Feel that? It's
I know,
pretty-
it's great.
It's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
wobble. Weebles
Yeah.
wobble, but they don't fall down. So anyway, that's mine. And then Deb suggested I put these little felt pads on here, but I noticed she hasn't got hers on hers yet. She needs
Deb
to-
ran out of felt pads.
I was going to bring you some, and
Really?
I thought I'll take them, and she'll go, "Oh, I have some, Liz."
I know. I got this finished the other day, and I thought, oh, I need some of those pads I told Liz about. I went up to the drawer in the kitchen. Nah, they're gone.
Oh, well, I'll bring you some.
So.
I have a whole box of them.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So
That's
that's mine.
yeah, I love it.
Tell us about yours.
And so for mine, I chose honeycomb. Did you have your colors?
Actually, it's espresso for the brown and honeycomb
No,
4.
you had a different yellow.
You picked it out.
I know, and it was a different color, and I can't remember what it was called.
It wasn't mustard.
No. Oh, I can't remember what it was called.
I'll put it in the
Okay.
Dropbox if you guys want to know what it is, because
Our colors are a tiny bit different. My colors, pecan pie and honeycomb. So those are the colors, and I want to show you that these are the colors because when I went to finish mine, I wanted a real like rustic look to it, primitive look. So I did my sunflower in these colors. But then, if you guys remember a while ago, when I found this at a store in New York, Distress It, we actually did a video where Liz sprayed it on a bunch of different fabrics to kind of give you an idea of, it's supposed to antique your fabric or make it look kind of grungy. So I used this after I did my punch needle and I sprayed it all over that, and it really did give it a grungy look. And then I sprayed it on my lace to give it more of that antique look. Then I layered another piece of felt, wool felt, and then the darker brown underneath.
and how did you
for the
attach
petals.
yours?
I did it that way with glue.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was just on felt, so that didn't bug me, gluing this down. But I
And you-
did use this Distress It, and I loved it.
And did you glue your ball into this outside piece
No,
of
I
felt?
stitched all that.
Okay.
I stitched, all this is stitched together,
Okay.
but I glued it on this.
Gotcha.
And it does, it's not going to fall off. It,
No.
it weebles a little bit, but I like your idea of lacing the bottom too. That's cool. But I was really happy that I got some use out of this too. And then Liz, when we went away, she had a little bag for us at our retreat, and she had this spray adhesive in there. Well, when I went to put my lace on, my lace was kind of floppy, and I didn't like that it was floppy. So I used that spray adhesive, and I kind of just put it where I wanted it. Feel that? I mean, it feels perfect.
Wow.
It's not too
like
stiff, but it's
like
perfect.
a
It's
stay.
like a starch, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that worked out great.
So it
So,
holds its own.
Mine's real primitive looking, and Liz's looks awesome. And
Mine's a little more contemporary.
yeah, I
the
love
colors.
it. And I
It's
love
actually
that
the-
blue with that yellow. That's really, really pretty.
That's
Man, oh days, girl.
I stuffed. I'm telling you what, I couldn't believe how much I could get in there. It was a challenge, and how much can you get in there? And I
That's
just
cool.
kept and it yeah, the trick was to keep the shape. And I worked and worked and worked with my little pressing stick and got it. But
Yeah.
it was fun.
Yeah, oh, they were really, really
I
fun
just
to do.
sat there poking the daylights out of that.
So, anyway, this is really cool because if you would like to take this class,
Yes.
Teresa Miller will be teaching this punch needle class at Stitches Unlimited April 25th, 2020.
and Liz is going to put that in the Dropbox.
She will. And the phone number is also there for Stitches Unlimited. So if you're interested in doing this finish, give Stitches Unlimited a call and you can get into that class to register. Right now, she also, well, her trunk show is just almost finishing.
That's
Wait,
2020.
what's the date today? 24th. Oh, today's the last day of her trunk show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
there quick.
Okay. Yeah.
But
And then
Teresa
she will-
has an Etsy store.
Oh, okay.
So if you
Okay.
can't find it there, that's where I bought our patterns, was through the
And-
Etsy store.
We have boxes of hers. We have the wooden
Yes.
drawer things. Oh, they're awesome.
Tell you more about that later.
And what was I going to say?
We're talking about the
Okay, so her
class.
trunk show's finishing up. Oh, she'll also be at Spring Fiber Fest this year,
Yes.
which is March 26th through the 29th. So, and we'll be there.
Actually, it's right before her class.
Yeah, because she's teaching in April 25th, and this is March, so it's like a month before. Yeah, it's awesome.
I keep writing 2020
Perfect.
thinking, wow.
I know.
We're making dates into that year now. That's scary. All right. So thank
I know,
you,
it's
Teresa.
almost Christmas. Guess what Hallmark Channel started playing? I got to start wearing my shirt.
I told Rick the other day I'm ready to go back to Double Play so I can get all the Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Because I can't get them all. I get just the ones that they show on those two. I can't get their variety.
Yeah.
And I can't record them because we have the most bonky beta recording on DVTV.
Yeah. I would have withdrawal.
I do. That's why I'm so sad.
That's why you're blue.
I am blue.
All right.
Oh.
So just a couple comments.
Yes.
Only a few. Lori at Once Upon a Stitch. Hi, Lori. I think in our last video with Ellen Chester, when I held up that I was working on the All Creatures Great and Small, I had it on my scroll.
Right.
Okay. She wanted to know a little bit more about my scroll frame. That was a package I had gotten. I had won it a long time ago at a retreat in Nordic Needle, and it was one of the based. What was it called?
Easy based.
Easy based, like easy bake
It
oven.
came with the scroll rods and that Velcro that you don't have to baste your fabric onto your scroll rods. You Velcro it so you get the tape for both sides.
Yeah, and then I just stick it on my floor stand.
She won it, and I had just bought it at AC Moore about 3 months before. Here you go, girl. I'm so happy for you. And I'm blue.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Mariah Young, she wanted to know about my colors for my Amethyst band sampler, which stay tuned because I'll be showing you something of that later. So,
and the colors are in the Dropbox where we talk about the band sampler
okay.
in the other videos. And they're also listed on our conversion
Okay.
PDF.
Okay. So, which video? The last regular video that we did, do you think? Or
No, it would go back.
okay. There's only like 5 colors, so maybe we can put them in the last time in if there's room in this video. If there's not room, then they're listed on another video. But I will be showing you that later. Diggy 415, she wanted to know if we were going to start diamond painting. I'm not.
I don't. My sister puts it this way. She can't afford to take on any more illnesses. And that's the way I feel about a new craft. I have been really diligent about stitching since I was 12 or 13. I played a little in some other things, but never went like all in.
Okay.
Because it was something I wanted to try or something that got my attention. I'd try it once, but that was that. Like paint by number as a kid, I did that once. I used my allowance, bought the kit. That was that.
Okay.
I couldn't paint by number. I can't paint without numbers.
I love crafts. For some reason that one just doesn't interest me. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have nowhere. I just couldn't see myself putting that in a place in my house with all my stitching. I guess I'm too committed to my stitching.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have seen some magnificent pieces. Some people do huge pieces with that.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Rebecca Ray, she wanted to know, how do you start in the upper corner? Because she's always started in the middle. We were talking on one of our videos about where we prefer to start.
Yes.
And so she was wondering how you start in the upper corner. I had placed an order with Sassy Jacks one time, and it was so cute how they send you this little card. It's just a little thank you they send out to their customers. But the really cool thing is all you have to do is just get a corner marker. Now this is just one example. There's so many different corner markers you can get, but see how it counts up to 3 inches both ways? You can lay this at the corner of your fabric. And then where that point comes down, you know you've come down 3 inches and in 3 inches, and you can go ahead and start your design there. As long as when you got your fabric cut, you make the allowance that however big your stitching area is going to be,
size.
You want to add your 3 inches to that in all directions.
They ask you what size you would like your margin. So if you have a 3-inch margin, that's where you would start.
So anyway, that is a very easy way to do it.
Just so you know, this is also the size of a basic Post-it note, 3x3.
Or you can just come down 2.
Yes.
A lot of times I just come down 2 inches. It's just all what you're comfortable with.
I always buy mine with a 2-inch margin. I don't put a 3-inch on
I usually
mine.
do a 2-inch. Yeah.
But when you do that, that's not where your first stitch is. That's where you count from.
Right.
So then you look at your pattern.
Unless you actually have a stitch right there.
Yeah. Some band samplers, you'll have a border, and that border may actually start right in that corner. But you would want to, and that would be the farthest left stitch and farthest top stitch in your design. So you'd come up from the middle, and you would look for the farthest left stitch and the farthest top left stitch, and that would be where you would count to from that corner. So if you started at that point Deb showed you, but your first stitch was 20 stitches to the right of the corner, you would have to count the 20 stitches over, or 20 stitches from the middle, depending which is closer, which which part to count from.
And that's also how counting pins come in really handy then too. I
And
think.
if you want to know another trick about it, you'll have to watch our suggestion video on basics, because I have another way that you can find that pretty easy too. So that's coming up before too long. Our other videos on suggestions.
I was just thinking of your other way.
Do you want me to talk about it? Want
Oh.
me to give it up? I'll give it up. Instead of a
Wow,
counting,
that was hard to pull out of you.
well, and you know what? People are going to go, what is that? What is that? And I don't want you to have to wait.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't have a piece of fabric. Yes, I do. Right here. I'm working on a squareology pattern for, actually, this still has a thread on it. Does it have a needle? This is better. Here we go. I find this almost easier than a counting pin. When you're getting ready to start, take your needle with your thread in it, because you aren't knotting it. Come up at your middle point, pull the thread through.
Wait, are we starting at the corner or the middle?
The middle. We're at the middle. Wherever you're counting from, if you're counting from the middle or you're counting from the corner,
Oh, okay, got
the
ya.
technique is the same.
Okay.
Come up through that point, leave some thread in the back, hold on to it, not like I just did. Then what I do, so that I don't lose track, because my medicine causes me to have problems with process. So if I'm using a counting pin, even if I mark it every 10 or 20 stitches, I'll forget how many stitches I marked it at. So then I'll have to count again. So I taught myself to leave the thread when I'm starting and count up, go down at 10, come up at 10, and I just do a quick running baste as I'm counting. So when I stop for a minute or get distracted, all I have to do is count my stitches and spaces, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And when I get to the top, I leave it there. And I start over to the left, still leaving my thread in. And now I've got a baseline that takes me right to my spot. I hold where I need to start, and then I take my needle out, pull my base thread out, and come right up where I'm going to start. So I use my actual start thread as a little running baseline to count with.
Okay.
And then I've got it right there.
Okay.
And then no matter what my brain does to me while I'm counting, or who says Liz, or who calls me or rings the bell to go potty, which my husband does not ring the bell to go potty. Ivan does, huh, Rick? So anyway, I found that to be a really neat way to do it.
Okay, cool. XG Garbled, she had some hoop questions. She wanted to know if some hoops are better than others in the fact that, are they going to leave marks on your fabric? You know, does it permanently distort your fabric? So that you can't even get it out, even if you iron it once it's finished. I have never had that problem where I can't get something out.
Yeah.
So
The only time I ever had a problem like that was on maybe a kit that I had Aida, and I put it away for a long time and left my hoop on it. But it was always those spring hoops. Those were the ones that left that circle on them, that the fabric actually gets pushed into that rim.
Yes,
Those were the ones.
I threw it out. I had one of those.
Yeah, those were the ones that made the biggest impact on my fabric.
Okay. You know, I've seen people wrap their hoops. Not Q-snaps, but their Hardwick or other hoops. I've seen that, and they say that helps a lot. I don't know. I haven't had a problem.
No.
But
And I take mine off if I'm going to put it away for a period of time. I don't take it off if I'm just going to set it down and stitch on it the next day. But if I'm done for the season, I don't leave my hoop on. I take it off.
Yeah.
But if it's not an over dyed fabric, you can try Best Press, and that'll help a lot with the wrinkles.
Okay.
But not on over dyed.
Susan Stolman, she wanted to know what a laying tool was. We had talked about it, and we actually showed all of Liz's laying tools in one video.
More than one.
Yeah, she has a nice collection. I forget which number that was, but it was one of our Did You Knows? Was it a Did You Know? Or was that just was that a gadget?
I think that was a gadget.
Okay.
I will put a link to that so you can see them. And I think
I remember which
we
video
talked about how to use them.
You did, yeah. You went all through. You showed all the ones you had and how to use it. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was the video where we were sitting right out there. I will never forget it because she actually impaled herself on one, and I spent hours on the floor because I saw her blood.
That would have been early springtime, actually. I was in a sleeveless top. Might have been maybe into summer.
Oh man.
But yes, there is a technique. It's not anything really magical, but they're just. Some people even use another needle. Some people use a crochet hook.
I use my finger.
Yeah, it's just a way to keep your threads separate and go through. It's a way to do it without railroading.
Yeah.
So it's to make sure that your threads lay side by side on the top of your fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Some people use a laying tool just on the top stitch. Some people do it on both stitches, and some people don't at all. And it depending on how you hold your needle and whether or not you twist your needle when you stitch. Some people don't even have a need because their threads lay. Yours lay pretty flat when you stitch. I tend somehow when I put my needle in, I tend to roll the needle, and that puts an automatic twist in the thread, which makes them cover each other when I lay them down. So I have to. One technique is to counter twist a quarter of a turn when you put your needle in, and then when you pull it through, it actually unwinds what you did
Okay.
on your entry into the fabric. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Esther Murphy, she loves the tips for beginners, and she was wondering if there was a rule for stitching on Aida concerning 1/2. I think on Aida you don't really have to worry about that because you're counting holes on Aida. I think where we're talking about 1/1 or 1/2 is more on linen because then you're counting the threads. And
I'm trying to think of where you would use 1/2 on Aida. Outlining, I've seen that with outlining. If you're going over, like sometimes on Aida, they'll have you go over one stitch up to, and it's on the pattern. I don't mean that only happens on Aida, but I was using Aida. And if that happens, you just do the same count as you would if you had 2 threads. If you're back stitching, you know how sometimes when you outline, it'll only go off 1 row, but up 2 stitches.
Okay.
It's the same as if you would do it on linen. You'd just count the squares. But I don't think I've ever stitched anything on Aida that I used 1 thread.
I think, honestly, I think it was just, I think it's more for...
I'm overthinking.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop. Done. We had a question through our email about who won the Victorian house. That was something we announced on a former video, and
that was a loved chart.
it was.
Yeah.
And that was Martina, and she wrote to us from Berlin, Germany. She used to live in Galway, Ireland, and she's lived in Germany, I think, about 24 years now. So
It was a nice email.
yes, thank you for sharing with us and telling us about your life. And her passions are quilting and cross stitch. She says it keeps her out of mischief. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So now you know.
So now it's on. It is. It's in Germany now.
Yes. And we want our viewers around the world to know that our subscriber tributes are not limited when we do them, and nor are our giveaways. So
Yep.
keep that in mind and make sure you subscribe.
Yes. Thank you. Alrighty.
We are going to do Spotlight. And this Spotlight goes back to a place where I grew up. I lived in Tucson, Arizona for almost 5 years when I was young. And we're going to be looking at the Tucson chapter of the EGA. And that, I remember driving to Tucson. We left Papillion, Nebraska, which is a little town just outside of Omaha, outside of what was at the time Sac Air Force Base. And we were driving there, and we were sitting in the back. I have a twin sister and had older brother and older sister, and we had generally 2 cars, so 3 and 3 would be the way we'd make the journey. And while we were driving there, my sister and I were trying to imagine what the desert would look like. Dad kept talking about the desert, and finally, Dad's driving, and at that very moment, we're going through some section of Texas, which is nothing but straight road, barren, flat. And he says, you know, like on Roadrunner when they have the cactus that have the arms, and he's doing the arms in the front seat. I will never forget that. And that immediately
And you're wondering, how's he hearing?
Dad was so cool. He'd put his knee on
That's what my dad did. Yes.
Put his knee on the bottom of the steering wheel and then do all the hand gestures.
Yeah.
And, oh, he would make my mom so mad. He'd drive by and he'd wave, and my mom would be looking at him, giving him the evil eye, like, why aren't your hands on the wheel?
That's funny.
But he told us that's how he described it. And then when we got close enough, he said, I will give 10 cents. Dad could keep us twins busy in the car. So easy. He's 10 cents to the first one of you who sees a saguaro cactus. It's like, all right, so we're looking. I think it was my brother who saw one.
I loved playing that I Spy game in the car.
Did you get paid for it?
No.
We got paid just because it was much more intense that way. We kept quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep quiet. Look out the window, and I'll give you a dime. But
I will pay you to shut up.
or be quiet. Dad
Instead of
would say.
asking
Yes,
17 questions.
that's right.
Oh my gosh.
Dad, yeah, he was fun to take a trip with. And so we're going to Tucson to the EGA, and they have been a guild for 37 years now. The president is Maura Robinson. They meet the first Thursday of each month, and they have a beading group that meets at the same location on the second Thursday of the month that focuses on just beading projects. I, of course, would have to fill my calendar.
Yeah.
Because I'd have to go take my peyote along. But like we always do, we say, hey, anybody who wants to bring whatever they normally like to stitch on can come along. So they said they have people who go to both just because it gives them the extra stitching time, and they enjoy the second meeting. They meet at the L-Town Flowing Wells Community Center in Tucson. And then I had to chuckle. They said, yes, it's air conditioned.
Yeah.
We had a swamp cooler in our house when we moved out there. It was really funny because none of us had ever heard that expression. And when I heard that we were doing this, I went online and I Googled where I used to live. And when I lived there, these pools were not there. I can tell you as a child, if all those pools were in our neighborhood, I'd have been really busy.
Wow.
But they added pools to all of the houses. We lived right there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we lived in, our house was the one right here without the pool.
I was going to say, I thought you had a pool in Arizona.
No, well, not the first house. This is our first
okay.
house. We went to Wrightstown Elementary School, and I learned looking this up for this spotlight. Wrightstown is now a housing development. They leveled the school property too.
Look at that pool.
Yeah.
Nice.
This was our friend Greg and Dawn. Their grandparents were raising them, and they had a pool. But this was the house of Colonel Locke. He lived here, but there was no pool when he lived there. So we were here.
Very neat.
Yeah, right off the main road. We used to ride our bikes up to Broadway to the El Taco. That was there. And get ourselves a soft drink. That was our big treat. Take a little trip. But back to stitching, their meeting format, Deb and I are a little bit envious. They meet from 9:30 to 2. And I love the way it's laid out. They have general stitching from 9:30 to 11. Then at 11 they have a program, and at noon they have a hostess that brings some kind of a treat, food for everyone. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
And at 12:30 they have their business meeting, and at the end of that they do their show and tell, and they conclude around 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it's nice.
What's-
All day stitching.
And what's really nice is you get to start with your stitching and then just keep stitching through the business meeting.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so you get like an extra 4. It's like a half day of stitch time.
And you have food.
Yes, and they feed you to do it. You guys know how to do this. And I did notice, their bead group meets from 9:30 to 1:30 because they have no business meeting. So
Nice.
they shorten that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did notice that with that timing, they would probably, I guess, you could make lunch out of all those snacks, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
So,
I would.
yeah, me too. But that's what they're doing, and that's the times they meet.
So the focus of their guild is embroidery, education, and outreach. And when we ask the question, what sets them apart from other guilds in their areas, their answer is, aside from being only one of 4 chapters of the EGA in Arizona, they try hard as a group to do outreach to introduce embroidery to the general public. National Stitch in Public Day, which is the first Saturday in February. They demonstrate entering exhibits at the Pima County Fair in April. They make bookmarks for adult literacy, display needlework at the main library, as well as they offer subsidized educational opportunities to chapter members, such as group correspondence courses, workshops, and most recently, their Monsoon Round program, which is pretty cool. Liz pointed out that they actually have a program during monsoon season.
Yep.
It's pretty neat. It was something that the board approved in 2019, in which the chapter greatly subsidized specific kits, techniques for the members during a specific time period. And the details of that is actually published in their September newsletter, if you want to check that out. The annual dues, $55. Their annual activities, they have meetings, programs, workshops, potlucks, holiday gift exchange, and raffle a basket. So lots of things to do, it sounds like, all year long.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they didn't note it on here with their dues, but I'm pretty sure that is both their local chapter and their EGA dues.
Okay.
Because that's what most chapters do, and that's about the same price as
Okay.
most of the EGA chapters. Monsoon season. My brother had a Volkswagen Bug. My dad got it as his first car, and he had the men that he had paint it safety orange, because my dad said he wanted everybody to know my brother was on the road. So monsoon season, we got Tucson surrounded by 4 mountain ranges, and our house where we finally moved to, where the pool was out at the base of the Rincon Mountains in the Tango Verde area, and you had to go up and down several big hills. And at the bottom of the hills are what they call washes, which are nothing but big sand-filled channels. When it rains in the mountains, even though it doesn't come to the surface on the mesa, the water just pours down the washes. So you can
Wow.
have flash floods.
Like a cool water slide?
Yeah. And guess what it picks up really quick? Volkswagen Bugs.
Oh, no.
Yes. Every year we lived there, somebody would try to cross one of those washes when it was flooded, and their car would end up floating down the wash, and they'd have to get rescued. It was unbelievable. But my dad told my brother, you get stuck in one, you wait. Don't you dare call me, because you know not to cross it. And we did. There were times we'd wait maybe 30 minutes before we could cross the wash, and it would recede. But it's interesting, the difference in the country. So the contact person for you is Betsy Smolin, and the website has a standard email contact and a newsletter address as well, and we'll put those in the Dropbox. And their newsletter is called the Cactus Needle. Did we say that?
No, that's cute.
And their newsletter is packed. It has information on all their programs. It has a schedule for their meetings. And then it even has an index to the newsletter. So I was really impressed.
Wow.
So
Nice.
if you want to check out the chapter, contact Betsy, and those links will be in the Dropbox.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
thank you, Betsy, for getting in touch with us.
Sounds
and
like a great one to join if you're in the area.
happy
That's awesome.
stitching to the
Yes.
Tucson chapter.
Yes. All right, so that bell you heard was our subscriber tribute. And we have 2 subscriber tributes today. The first one is RC, just RC. So congratulations. Your first pattern is Stars and Stripes Forever, and it is a stocking, and it's by Heartstring Samplery. Beth Twist. It's awesome. And if you start it now, you'll have it finished by, summer next year, 4th of July. So to go along with that, a Bent Creek pattern, and it's just called Flag, 1998. Very cute. So RC, if you can get a hold of us, our information is in the drop-down section, and we'll get that out to you. And the second subscriber tribute for today is Trudy Schrader. Your first pattern is a Chessie and Me pattern, and it's snowmen and snowflakes where you get to make the scorners, and they're beautiful. Really, really pretty. That's your first one. And then your second one is a Blue Ribbon Designs. It's called Celebration Wishes, where you can make a bunch of different little pillows that say things. All right, so Trudy Schrader and RC, and thank you so much for subscribing.
Those little pillows are cute to attach to like a gift bag or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, one's wedding, one just says good for you, congratulations, one's a birthday, happy anniversary, little baby.
Yeah, the baby announcement's cute.
What's this one say? Oh, thanks a bunch. Yeah, they're really cute. Very cute. Oh, and did you want to say something about information about where to send it? Or
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to ask you in your communications with us if you are responding to subscriber tribute. We have things that we do to support the channel. We divide up some of those tasks, and Deb takes care of the postal runs. So sending your address if you're a subscriber tribute winner, or you've entered and have won a giveaway that we've done, send your address and information to Deb's email address. And I'm going to make a note of that in the Dropbox that that's going to be for her address as well. And any general communication, or if you want to say hi to me, then the other Country Stitchers Gmail address is also there. But this way, it'll get to her without me having to relay it. A lot of you send it to both of us. That's not necessary. You can just send it right to Deb's address.
Okay.
So thank you.
Alrighty.
That was all I was going to say, right?
That was
Okay. All right. Got it. We have been busy doing a lot of finishing in the last week. Both of us got bit by the finish bug. So we had a little bit of time that we stitched. My stitching, one of them was to actually finish a project. But I did do a little work on some other
Well,
things.
and we also did the punch needle. That was stitching.
That's true.
So,
Yes, we did.
yeah. You want to start with your finishes?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
What would you like to start with?
I'll start with
Oh, yeah.
the one that I did the most stitching on since last week.
This is so cute.
This was done with my daughter in
So
mind.
do you have white?
I do. I
Okay.
got a little piece of. I just stole it. This was for Carrie. It came out of the
Oh.
Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, and they finished theirs on a sifter frame. And Teresa sells those. By the way, Teresa, I need a bigger one. I'm going to be in touch with you. So this doesn't quite fit because I did it on a larger count than the pattern in the magazine. So I want to get a different frame for that.
I love it. That's so pretty.
I was really happy to finish
Yeah.
that. That was something I wanted to get done.
Love those colors.
It is. It's pretty. And that dove gray really set off the colors.
It's beautiful. Now, that was in the, you said the primitive and punch needle.
Yes.
Okay, which one
Punch Needle
was...
Primitive Stitcher.
Yeah. Which one was it? Do you remember?
2 issues ago. It was their
Okay.
summer issue.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. And
Very
so
cool.
that was a certain amount of my stitching. Then I was working on an ornament. One evening I finished what I was actually
Would you want to show finishes first?
completing.
Or... No?
No.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right.
I did that just because that was actually where I put most of my stitching time was on there,
Okay.
so that's why I picked that up. It kind of crossed the border, didn't it? It's not fully finished. It's just
Nope. It's
just done.
no rules.
Done stitching.
D-U-N. Done.
This is by Kathy Haberman. It's one of her Squareology patterns.
So cute.
It's the trucks, and then I have the companion. There's 2 companions. The other one is the sleds and the skates.
Yes.
That's from the
yeah.
magazine,
Yeah.
Just Cross Stitch Annual Ornament magazine. Anyway, so I started on the trucks. I'm doing it on the model fabric, and that is called Light Cobblestone with white points, if you want to be specific. So I got all the red in. That's all the bigger one side of it is. So I'll do that 3 more times and be just about done. It actually is pretty quick. And this fabric is very nice to stitch on.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I really do. It's a Belfast, so it's easy to get through.
Sometimes going through the painted, that can be a little funny.
Yes. That Easy Glide needle
You like
Works
that?
really well for the painted areas.
That's good.
Pokes right through.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I did a little work on that. And then the other piece that I did, this is kind of fun. Ellen, if you're watching, I bought a box from the trunk show from Teresa that is like a vice clamp, and it clamps on just like our pincushions, and the top lifts up and you can put your stitching stuff in it, but the top is also a pincushion. And I was thinking to myself, what do I want to put in the pincushion? And then I thought about the pattern that Ellen had given us, and I thought that would be perfect because she gave it to us when we were at the trunk show, and that's where I bought the box. So I'm actually stitching that very first design that says a token of friendship, and I picked a Gloriana overdyed silk to do it in, and I got pretty far on it. That was just one evening.
This
Didn't
is
take
really
very long.
pretty thread. It's called
Yeah.
Winter Woods.
That's one of my favorites. I actually
That's
have two skeins
beautiful.
of that.
Yeah,
I was
it's
gonna
really,
do.
really Oops. Now I see it, now I don't. It's Gloriana, Winter Woods. That is really pretty.
Any way you hold it, it's Gloriana.
Very pretty.
So that's fun. And I think this was a piece of fabric I had in my stash called Mink, and it's by R&R, and it's 35 count.
Okay.
And her pattern was, her model was done on 36 count. It actually is 3 1/8 by 3 5/8 inches. The box top is 4 inches square. It is perfect.
Wow.
Absolutely perfect.
Nice.
So, oh, and
Sweet.
Ellen, our initials are the same.
Yeah.
And so this is going to look exactly like your square, and it's going to be on my pincushion.
Very
So
cool.
that was what I worked on.
That'll be so pretty.
Stitching. So,
Okay.
you want to show what you stitched on?
Okay, so I'm showing. Okay. Yep. Let's see. After the punch needle was done, I did this. It's so
She's
with
had this pattern for about 8 years now.
yeah, long time.
It took 6 years to get the little heads.
Oh my gosh. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, it's a with needle and thread pattern. Designer is Brandy, and it's so cute. These cute little snowmen. You get all 3 of these patterns to make the sign, and both of the snow people. So I started with the one that says "Let It Snow," and I got that finished. The stitching
you
finished.
just started that while we were on the retreat.
Yeah, it was really quick and easy. Just a few colors in it. This fabric is by Picture This Plus. It's 36 count and it's sand. So I will make the little, yes, I'll make the little snow person out of that. And I think I might actually then spray it with some of that to stress it.
4 colors, that's it? Brown, green, red, and white?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
I should get mine out.
Yeah.
I could actually do something for Christmas.
There you go. Yeah, you
have
could.
it done.
Yeah, you could.
Along with that little squareology ornament.
You'll whip that up in no time.
Getting them out.
So I got that. And then I worked on my little boy. There he is again. The folk art children.
The happy boys.
Liz loves him. And this is what I have so far.
Him and his turkey.
Now he's a turkey. Oh gosh. So that's what I have finished so far on him. Other than finishing, that's all the stitching I got finished.
All right.
That's it, darling.
So, do you want me to do my finishes first?
Mhm.
All right. Well, you saw the pincushion.
Mhm.
And then I had to get my first Halloween mouse out by Just Nan because I was still trying to finish my sister witchy mouse. And so she's now finished.
She's so cute.
She is. She was really fun. And I did her a little bit differently. Any of you who are doing Just Nan mice, I do have a video of how I finish mine on our channel. But the other ones, I used the same color thread that I finished in the bottom or the outline stitch and pulled it together to attach the button. And I thought, you know what? That's a lot of business down there that doesn't need to be there. So I changed it and used my invisible thread, and I really like the finish. Did you
Oh, I
Yeah,
like
nice
it.
and
Oh,
clean.
yeah, perfect.
So much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. Oh, that's dirty.
Better one, better two. So I'm really happy, Sister Witchy Mouse. And then I gave her, she has a purple broom
Yeah, that is so cute.
in their hats. I just love them.
Yeah.
So that was my,
They look so cute together.
yeah, I just had to because I thought I can't have her sitting there in that to be finished bin
Yeah.
when he's already sitting in the cabinet.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
then let's see, what else did I do aside from my mermaid? Oh yeah,
Yes.
I finished a class project. Deb had her pumpkin done while we were away.
I know. It's like a little puzzle.
It is.
Ah, voila.
So I finished mine. Rick really liked it, and I did find some more pumpkins. I got Deb and I some more pumpkins online. And then I did one thing differently just to see what it looked like. We had 2 gold leaves, 2 brown, 2 pumpkin, 2 red, and 2 green. And I tweeted this one. I used pumpkin, or whatever color you would call that, and then the gold, and I tweeted it and kind of gave it a little bit of a fall look.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah, it came out neat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's significant enough from the gold. I mean, the gold is pretty. Actually, I do.
I think
think it's
yeah, I do.
noticeable.
Mhm.
Now that I look at it at a distance.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
That's that.
That's very pretty.
And you got something fun going on with
Well, hold on. You have one more finish.
pumpkins too.
You were able to finish
Oh
it?
yes. Ta-da! Finally put my pillow together.
Mhm.
And I used some ribbon I had. This has a wire in the outside of it. That made it a little tricky for me to get it to lay at the corners, but I was able to.
Mhm.
And then I put a stitch every 5 stitches just as a marker, and then tacked it down at that stitch onto the ribbon and the pillow when I was done.
Mhm.
I like it.
I do too.
I
Very
think
pretty.
it came out. My husband really likes it. That's the important
Yeah.
part because I stole the pillow off our bed.
Well, I was going to say, this is a really cool idea. If you don't want to actually make a pillow, this is very clever. You know, whether you have one that you can steal from somewhere else in your house or someone else's house.
Yes.
Or,
Deb has to count her pillows when I leave.
or, you know, you find one that you love at the store, and then you can mount your stitching on it.
Yes.
You know, that's...
And it's really cute, and you've probably already seen it in pattern books or on patterns at the shop. I like it when they take a pillow and they match the fabric with button covers, and then they mount
yes.
it with the button covers in the corner. That's cute
that's
too.
cute. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And this is what the ladies will be working on when we have our day treat coming up.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes. And so Liz did hers on Aida, 14 count Aida, and then I had shown my finish. I stitched it on linen. So, yep, awesome.
And Kylie is waiting because I'm sending a package to her that has this pattern and the threads to do it. And I had it
Yeah.
sitting on the table.
Oh, yeah?
McGee is our cat.
Oh, no.
I moved it. I went to pick it up, and I thought, ew,
Oh.
McGee barfed
Oh, no.
on Kylie's pattern.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I should have had it all put together and in the plastic and everything, but I
Oh.
didn't. I had it sitting out, and I was going to
How
tuck the
do they
threads in.
pick the dumbest places to do that?
Because I put a pretty little flower with, like,
Oh.
not quite raffia, but that stuff that you stick in the pots on my workbench,
He was
and the
playing with
cat ate it and then turned around and didn't eat it.
Mm.
Unate it. That's what she did. She
Yeah.
unate it all over that. So, anyway, yeah, that was
Okay.
not fun.
No.
So, Deb has been very productive too.
All right, so yes, I have gotten some finishing done with our retreat that we just went on at Salty Yarns with our Kathy Haberman class. We did this one while we were in class, the trick or treat. And then I finished the other 2, so Shriek, Eek, and Squeak. I finished that one. I added a different kind of a bow to it, and I also put a really cute baker's twine that I thought was pretty on it. Put the green fabric on the
I
back.
like that on the edge.
Thank you. I thought that was really cute. It's teeny tiny. And then I also did the same thing on this one. I put the baker's twine on that as a finish. And this is Got My Eyes on You. And I put a bow on the front and the back and used
Are
this.
those the fabrics that we have in our kit?
This one is, this one's not. This one I had.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got all of those finished and ready for a fall tree if I ever get a fall tree. Then I worked on, I had Hello Fall, which is Plum Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Had that finished for a while, finished stitching. And I thought I was going to make a pillow out of it, but then when I went to my finishing cabinet and I found this, I went ahead and mounted it on this piece of wood. It's like an open box. It's a Primitives by Kathy box. It had a scene on it that I would keep on the front porch on one of my tables, and it was just like patriotic. But since it had been sitting on the porch for so long and through so many summers, it got sun faded, and I wasn't going to use it for decorating anymore, but I didn't want to get rid of this. I knew it would come in handy, and it did. This looks perfect on there, so I went ahead and mounted it with some of the green trim that matches really nice, and it's more of a velveteen trim.
You know what's funny?
What?
When you were saying you weren't sure whether you wanted to do that on a pillow or not, the thought that crossed my mind is it would be pretty mounted like a cornice board, which is exactly what that looks like.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
really
so I
is.
can
It's
either
nice.
stand this I can stand this somewhere on a cabinet or a dresser or something, or I can just hang it on the wall, and the edges are like painted but like rubbed off. So I thought it turned out really cute, and I was very happy with it. I did not stitch the words Hello Fall, and I did change the colors, and Liz does have that color conversion listed, right? Because that was one that somebody asked.
That's in a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Whenever you showed that is where the colors are.
Oh, okay. All right. And then I had showed you my pumpkin that was finished, but what I wanted to do with it was display it with something in it. So I wanted to show you what that looks like. Liz had her lid on hers, her pumpkin top. But if you didn't want to just set it on your counter or somewhere with the pumpkin top on it, you can take the top off, kind of prop the top next to it, and then you can stick some fall things in it.
Do you have, what do they call that? Flower clay or flower? What do you have in there? Anything?
Nothing. I didn't put foam or anything in there.
Okay.
Nope. I just
Stuffed.
Yeah, they're real wispy, and I just stuck them in there. But look how cute these two look together, sitting together. Aren't they cute?
It's
I love
adorable.
So anyway, that's an idea for you. Anybody who did the pumpkin
It's
or
an
is
awesome idea for
going
you.
to do.
Contributions can be sent.
Yeah. Okay, and then
Okay, wait 1 second. I'm losing track.
of
What else am I telling people? Oh, Hello Fall.
Hello Fall.
I'll put a link to that one.
Okay, the colors for Hello Fall. All right, so my next finish was the Amethyst band sampler that we showed for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Mine got done so early I don't even bring it anymore.
I had seen these spools at a store, and I picked one up for myself and for Liz because I knew that it would be the perfect thing to mount it on. So this is the spool that I got, and what I did to finish mine was I called Sassy Jack's again because Sassy Jack's Stitchery is where we both purchased our banding. Doesn't mean you have to purchase it there, but that's where we purchased it. And if you let them know on the phone you're stitching the Amethyst band sampler, they know exactly what length to cut it, all of that. So that's where we purchased our banding. What I wanted to do was have a complete finish on the back. So I called them and purchased one more banding, exact same as the front. And I first got a piece of fabric and I sewed it to the top of the front of my stitched piece, and then got behind my sewing machine and I stitched the backing to this. And at the very bottom, once I sewed up the bottom, I stuck my, before I sewed up the bottom, I stuck my ribbon in there so that when you wind it up, you can tie it with a ribbon. Because I don't know if I'm going to keep this wound up or if I'm going to display it on, Liz has a really cool curio cabinet where she can put all of her really pretty little finishes and stuff. I don't have one of those yet, but if I ever do, or on a shelf or something.
Your hutch. That would be so
My
pretty. In your hutch, like around your glassware or...
Oh, up it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
The way you can
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I can
set
put it in there.
things. You oh,
That'd be pretty.
mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, you know, if it's on a shelf, like if you could hold that for me, Liz,
I can.
and say it's on a shelf, it might have, you know, certain places where you actually, it's laying, but you can see the back of it. And I didn't want to see stitching. So that's why I went ahead and finished off the back of it.
Yep. Very nice.
So that's done.
Done, done.
Done, done. Yes. Dun, 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 dun. And again, there's only 5 colors that I used in that. They were all Thread Gatherer's silk. Tuscan olive, apple and oak leaves, Spanish moss, Madeline's locks, and chocolate caramel. Those will be listed, hopefully, if we have enough room, one more time. And then that's it. We'll put that one to bed. I did start finishing Olga, but she's not done yet, so... I have 2 more things to show you. They're not cross-stitch, but just in case you want to do them, I have a craft meeting at my house once a month, and we did these pumpkins, where it's the same kind of pumpkins that we actually punched to do the cross-stitch on, but if you just have some hodgepodge and go outside and get some leaves and some little silk flowers or silk leaves, you just use your Mod Podge and put them on there, and then let it dry, and voila, you have a decoration. Real quick and easy. Kids love to do these too. So that's an idea for you. And then through YouTube, there's lots and lots and lots of videos out there. Got it?
Got it.
For hand knitting blankets, and these chunky blankets are so popular now, and they're in all the stores. They can be kind of expensive. So we made these chunky blankets, and it's just hand knitting. All you need are your hands, but check these out. They're so cool. Lots of different colors of yarn to use, and we got our yarn at Hobby Lobby. It's like chenille, real thick. You know, chenille's very, very, very soft. Kids love these. My daughter, she's in college. She wants to make a few of them for gifts, and her friends want to come over and make a few of them for gifts. So,
how big are the skeins with that kind of fabric?
oh, I'm trying to remember how much it was on each one. They're pretty large, because it took me... This is a nice size throw.
Let's hold it up.
Yeah, it's nice size. And I used 5 skeins
Okay.
of my thread. So
Where's the corner? There we
it
go.
is very, very large.
That's about 60 by
So
48. Easy. Yeah.
I
That
think I
is
did
big.
23 rows of 17 stitches each.
Nice.
So, but it feels really, really good. Very easy to do. And it's not...
Why didn't you teach me?
I will teach you. It's so easy.
My
It's
cat
fun.
could go through there.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. So anyway,
So
McKenna...
is this pretty reasonable?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're kind of expensive in the stores. And each skein of that yarn, not on sale, like regular price, is $6.99.
Oh.
So if we can get it on sale, or you can at least use a 40% off coupon
Right.
for 1 or 2 or
Take
whatever.
your friends.
Yeah, exactly. All stand in line with one skein.
Yes.
Use
This
the
is all I
pass
want.
the coupon down the... Yeah. Then it's very reasonable.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
and they sell yarn for sale at Joann's all the time. They'll have a 30% off or 40% off.
Right.
And they do that so you don't use their coupon on it
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So if you're interested in making one of those blankets, just on YouTube, just put in hand knit blankets, hand knit chunky blankets. That's all I did. And you'll have all kinds of videos come up. And all I did was kind of just look through a few of them, because they're quick. And they all kind of, same kind of idea on how to do it. It's just some people might have different tips, and everybody has their own technique in how to do it. So
I will put those links into a playlist with there, say, what, 6 maybe?
oh, there's so many.
Okay.
All I did was just kind of, once it came up, I thought, nah, that one looks interesting. Let me look at that. Watched it for a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
I just
So-
kind of,
So I'll send you some, we'll put some in a playlist.
really,
We'll call it
okay, if
chunky-
you want it. All the,
Chunky blankets. What'd you call them? Chunky
yeah,
blankets?
chunky hand knit blanket. Yep. But easy idea for Christmas coming up, in what, 2 months? Wait, today's the 24th?
Well, yeah.
Oh, in 2 months, it's Christmas Eve.
Exactly. And my grandson, Cole, told me he wanted me to make him a fleece blanket like the ones I made for the girls last year. Remember the fleece
Yes,
blankets
that
that I
you
buttonholed the whole way around? No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't tie
Remember?
them?
I bought 2 of each of the same blankets because to tie them meant I would lose, 4 inches off of these fleece blankets that were on sale at Kmart. They were already the size of the blanket I wanted. So I just took and I actually buttonholed them together using pearl.
Oh, the
Pearl
ones that
thread.
were there were already finished. Those fleece ones.
They
That
just
they came-
they actually just had a raw edge on them all the way around.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I took and I used pearl cotton
Yeah.
and I just buttonholed it with 3 or 4. It looked buttonholed. It wasn't actually. I just did 3 or 4 stitches around like a whip stitch in a hole, and I did it like every 2 inches.
Okay.
It was a long process because I did it for 4 blankets, but when I was through, they had a double fleece.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have the fringe on them because you lose the warmth of the fringe area anyway. So I thought, well, since they were on sale for $2.50 a blanket.
I know. I got some.
So
yeah,
I thought I
yeah.
can put those together and get them. Anyway,
Yeah.
he wanted one, and I didn't know that until just recently. A guy would think those are pretty cool, wouldn't they? I mean, if I did it in a guy color.
Oh, they have all kinds of colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess he would. I don't know. I have no idea.
It almost looks like a fishing net. He's down in Florida now. He can pretend it blends into the surroundings. We'll come up with a name.
Yeah.
Florida
So anyway,
fishing
that was
blanket.
that was what I got accomplished.
Yeah. And see, she knows last video I didn't have a lot to do with the Dropbox. So I did it all at the same time. So this time she decided to do a lot more for me because I had a day off. There you go. And she'll put that
to work,
down
you little
there.
slacker.
She'll put that down there.
What else can we add to the Dropbox?
Yes. But we do have an announcement to make. I did forget to say that, so I hope you stuck around. We want you to know that the collaboration we're doing with Beth Twist will be revealed on our next video. So, between here and then, you'll just have to wonder. And
She's mean.
and we will tell you all about it on our next video.
Yes. Oh, hey. Okay, so we're sitting in the back of my craft room area. And the reason why is because I finally got my over-dyed threads the way I want them. And I wanted to show that to you.
That was the other thing we both did this week without knowing it. We spent a day in our craft rooms organizing and doing things. But yours was up a little bit ago, right?
Yeah. So right back here on this iron rod is how I'm displaying my over-dyed threads. They are in alphabetical order and by company. But what I did was I slid on these curtain hooks. These are actual curtain hooks that have these nice clamps at the bottom, very strong clamps. And all I do is just clamp my little tag to it, and if I have more than one color, I'll just put them all in the same clamp. And then these slide on that rod. I don't have to take anything off when I'm ready to use a color or find a color. All I have to do is just unclamp it and go and use my threads. So that's how I'm storing my threads. We always get those questions, and now done. That's it. I think I need another rod though.
I said to her, so what are you going to do when you add more threads to your rod?
Yeah.
She's always saying, I have so many threads. Will you take a look?
Oh, you do? Oh, no.
Now, your rod is bigger than my rod. It's longer than my rod.
I am telling you, there's no way. No way.
Won't take long. Just unpack her kits. Just unpack the wall. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Challenge accepted.
But I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you hang these back up, are you going to restring it? We're so much alike.
Because that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, I knew it would. I knew it would. I do that too. And on my silks, I have to wrap them back up and stick it through the hole so they're all wound up again when I put them back on the thing. But I did find a way to put my silks up there.
Yeah?
Yeah. I took the 2 hoops that I'm not using
How
anymore.
many silks do you have there, Liz?
Not as many as you thought.
Yeah.
Not as many as you thought. I have more than I thought, but not as many as you thought. But I took I had 2 of the 6, 8 inch. I'm not sure exactly which. But by loading them on there, and there's not that many, so they hang okay, then I just hook that over the end of the over-dyed rods. So I have them hanging off the end on the hoops.
Okay.
So now I can actually see all my threads when I want to look
Yeah.
instead of having to pull the bins out, which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Doesn't accommodate the NPI silks, the needlepoint
Okay.
silks, because they don't hang that way. They come in a little skein like the silk mori.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
or Kreinik, I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is silk mori, yeah. And then there's the splendid silks that I had for my needlepoint projects. They're not on the cards.
Okay.
They don't count though. They were for needlepoint.
If you are interested in these, I found everything, the rods and the curtain hooks on Amazon.
Rod and reel.
Yeah. So,
The whole kit.
yeah, the whole kit and caboodle. They didn't come together, but I did find, just make sure when you are ordering your curtain rod, or curtain,
Ring.
thank you. Oh my gosh. Make sure it's the right diameter, because these rods are all different sizes. This one's a real nice heavy duty, more like an industrial rod, and this one specifically comes in black, bronze is what I have, and then I think like a rubbed gold. But you do want to make sure these all come in different diameters.
Yeah, you can't get a 2-inch rod through a 1-inch hole.
Yeah, not gonna work.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, if you're interested in that, that's how I'm doing it, and I love it. It's so easy. I love seeing it. It looks nice and neat. It's pretty. And then I had already showed you my cabinet that I had found at a yard sale for my DMC. Still don't have that done, but that's that.
Let's take another day.
Yeah.
A rainy day.
Yeah. There
Or
you
a
go.
snowy day. Let's pray for snow.
Hey, there's places in Colorado right now. I just saw that
I
on the news.
know.
Oh, they're getting my snow.
They were
Darn
getting
it.
snow in
Although-
I think it was Minnesota too.
So I texted Liz and I showed her a picture. We have water in the pool now. It's done. Finished. So my two crazy kids, they're going to do the polar plunge before we close it.
Can't blame them.
Can you believe that?
I do. I do.
I mean, I believe Logan, but
I think
so.
Yeah.
I said, I got to be home for this because I am going to video. I said, who's going to stay in the longest? Who's going to stay in the longest?
Logan.
Yeah. Yeah. And McKenna's like,
Just
no,
on
no, no." I said,
principle.
oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
He can't come out before his sister.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that should be fun and interesting. But yes, that's finished. I mean, we still have a lot of groundwork to do, the fence, the pool house, a lot to do. But there's water in the pool for next
Yes.
year.
Yes, yes.
Progress. All right.
We are ready for Gadget Corner.
Yay.
And before I do it, I have to tell you about something.
Oh,
Deb has us something too.
I do.
We go away and Deb did a little gift bag for me on our trip, and in it was this stationery set. It has a little matching clipboard. Vanna will show you hers while I talk about mine. And inside is a little notebook and pockets everywhere. And so anyway, we're dressing up our little table here
Yeah, everything coordinates.
with our YouTube information.
Very cool, very pretty.
Were you proud of me for remembering that?
I am.
Good.
Yes.
So anyway, that was
Oh.
fun.
Real quick,
Mhm.
because you showed what you were working on.
Mhm.
We did have a lot of comments. I just want, because I almost forgot this. On our video when we were down at Salty Orange, you showed your French pattern.
Yes,
That went nuts.
Yes, it
Everybody,
did.
which is, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pattern.
it is.
So,
That is by Mon Ami Pierre. She's overseas.
that just sounds pretty.
It does.
Mon ami.
And the initials are MAP. Like if you look at her logo, it's an M, an A, and a P. I found her on a website called The World's Largest Collections of Smalls. And I was looking through there, and she had smalls that people had stitched from her patterns, and some of them were free charts. And so it got me looking, and I found her link, and I started looking at her free things, and then I ran across that piece. And I believe the first time I actually saw the pattern might have been on Pinterest.
Really?
Yep. And then I tracked it back to her, and I ordered
Should we
it
hold it up again?
online. I tossed
Oh, it's
it
over there.
there.
Okay. All right.
I ordered it online. She also has other seasons done in that same
Oh, wow,
style, like
really?
a spring. And the title is French, and I will put that in the Dropbox this time. But the only thing I can suggest is that you look at your regular shops wherever you normally buy your patterns. Google her name and see if you can find a link to that pattern. I will check my invoices and see if I can find where I got that.
Okay.
But it was a while ago. We've
oh, yeah.
had those
Yeah.
for,
That was, I can't even remember when that was.
I
but-
think I found them before my father passed away.
Oh.
Was it that long ago?
I-
Yeah, I might have
mean,
been
it's
around
been a
then.
few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
These are the colors of that sampler. Their DMC is what it calls for.
Yep.
And then like Liz is trying to figure out what white she wants to use, and I'm same thing. And then I am going to use a green that's variegated. I think it's called moss, maybe. Yeah, it's moss. But I think I'm 90% sure this is going to be the fabric. It's like a real pretty gray blue, and I think that would look really nice with that winter scene on it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I change my mind.
They have no mind changing.
Yes.
So, back
That
to
is
Gadget
a
Corner.
beautiful, beautiful pattern. I just wanted to bring that up because we had so many people.
Yes.
I knew people would go crazy over
At
that.
the
It's
very
so pretty.
least,
So different.
or you can contact her through her blog spot and ask her, where you might
there you go.
track that down if you can't find it at a local shop
Yeah.
or at online.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but I will do my best.
And if you're wondering because we're not showing you the pattern, if you're wondering what the heck we're talking about, it was
I'll get
2
it.
videos. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. All right. So, what do I do?
Talk to me. That's the pattern.
There it is.
I had it tucked over there in my...
In your beautiful
Bin.
Christmas bag. Oh, it's so pretty. And you're doing yours on more of like the fabric they're showing.
Yeah, I picked out lamb's wool. They did this on... Well, actually, all they say is natural.
Oh.
They don't actually give you a color on that. So I thought
You
I
know
would
what?
pick out...
That would be really pretty on that raw natural.
I thought about that too, and I have a piece that size.
Oh. I might
And
be
I
changing
like
my
the
color.
feel of that other one better than this too.
Uh-huh.
So I bought this lamb's wool.
But this color is very pretty though.
Yeah. And I maybe could use this on any other sampler, but I'm debating on the feel of it if I stitch this without a hoop
Oh my
and
gosh.
not on a stand.
Now I'm excited. I might change it to raw natural.
So we'll see. I have raw natural out the wazoo. So,
Very cool.
um,
Alrighty.
and the title of this means Things of December.
Oh.
In French. So, Christmas is in December. Caroling is in December.
We.
Trees are in December. So,
Hopefully
now.
we get snow in December.
Yes, lots of it.
All right.
Rick didn't hear me say that. Gadget Corner.
Gadget Corner.
We're doing a gadget that we picked up at our retreat, so we didn't share it with you before now. These have to do with those pumpkins. Janice taught us how to use these in class. These are the drill set for the pumpkins. It comes with a little bit of everything. Free my little press drill. You have a drill bit. It's a 1/16 inch drill bit. Comes with the kit. Then you have a nice brand new X-Acto knife.
Yeah, be careful.
Yes, Janice had a run-in with hers on our retreat. And then there's tape to attach your pattern to your pumpkin when you're drilling. And then it's very simple to use. Just the action of bringing the bobbin up and down the shaft is what rotates the drill press. And you want to keep it perpendicular to your pumpkin so that it goes straight in. Sometimes it's a little bit of an angle, and all you do is when you're stitching, make sure you angle your needle. But this is just really easy to use. Janice sells these, and Salty Yarns had
Yeah.
a supply of these on hand. So I don't know. You'd probably have to contact Janice if you needed to know where else to get them.
Right.
But Salty Yarns can also get them for you.
Now I know up at Stitches Unlimited they also have something that Janice had up there because she taught a class up at Stitches Unlimited also, and she has a tool. It's a little bit different than what we have though. It's not in the same packaging.
Oh.
And it was in a much smaller box. But
Oh.
Janice, I guess she is fine with either tool that works.
So was it packaged by her?
Yes,
Oh.
she left it there
Okay.
at Stitches Unlimited. So either
All right.
Stitches Unlimited or Salty Yarns.
And
You'd be able to get the tool.
my husband walked upstairs and added to our Gadget Corner by sharing with me a handheld battery-operated Dremel, which I didn't know we had, which we didn't have until recently. And it, of course, operates very nicely and has a whole drill bit set. And the 16th inch drill would be very easy to put into the chalk on the end of this. And it would be a lot less handwork to just go right through the holes. The only thing that Janice talked about between using an electric drill and a hand drill is the amount of dust that's given off by the resin of the pumpkin. And she cautioned, based on her own experience after doing many holes, I mean hundreds of thousands of holes for the classes she was teaching and the galleria she went to, she ended up having problems with her sinuses as a result of it. So she wears a mask now and cautions you to make sure that you're in a ventilated area and you protect your sinuses. So that's why she liked the hand ones, because they didn't give off as much airborne debris as the electric ones. But I thought maybe the battery power low might not be too bad.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's probably going to make some.
And Janice has patterns also out there that you can then tape to your pumpkins. Like Liz found these two pumpkins back here. One's black and one's orange, different sizes. And so you tape your pattern on, and then you would use your tool. And she has it.
She has those patterns. It's very similar to the pumpkin carving kits and the packages with the pumpkin carving patterns. You take them out, you attach them to the front with the tape, and then you drill straight through the holes, and then you take the pattern off and you're ready to cross stitch.
Yes, and she has it explained very well in their books. They're like pattern books.
Yes,
yeah,
they are. They're actually books.
Yeah,
and you can take the patterns from there.
Yeah,
some of them are alphabets, and you can put your monogram on.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And some of them are other fall motifs.
Yeah, yeah.
So
very cool.
That's Gadget Corner, and we would like to thank you for joining our channel today. And please remember to subscribe. We are 50 subscribers away from hitting 6,000. Cool. So if you haven't subscribed and you're on the fence about it, please help us get over the top. That would be fun. And also, we don't want you to miss out on our subscriber tributes.
Yeah.
And next week, we'll talk about our collaboration with Beth Twist and show you what we're up to. And it can involve you. And as always, share the joy of needlework.
See ya.
Bye-bye.